Hey there, everyone. Welcome into the Ben Maynard program. Thanks for being here. A little bit of housekeeping to take care of before we get started. You see who's back, right? My wingman.
I'm back.
My wingman, Spaz. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's going to be some fun discussion this evening. But as a reminder, this program is available on multiple podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Or if you can't resist that right there or this over here, and you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment. We dig comments. I know I do. And when Spaz is on the show, he digs them as well. Last but not least, follow me on Instagram, simply Ben Maynard Program. So with that, there are plenty of ways to take in this show for your dancing and listening pleasure. And with that, there's really not much of a recap. The last 2 weeks, we've done Friday Night Live, and it was fun. But we needed to. It was cool. It was fun. You called in last week.
Hey,
you and Nancy were.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you and Nancy were watching, and you were.
Yep.
Having me drink Malort and all that stuff.
Yuck.
Yeah. Well, everybody out there seems to think that it's like a drunk show or something, and it's not. It's more of a punishment show, but it's all about having some fun. But we're taking a week off from Friday Night Live. We've got a good topic to cover this evening. One of our all-time favorite bands.
Yep.
Foreigner. Am I right?
My second favorite band next to Journey, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
they come second, and it's
and we talked about this. You and I talked about it a few weeks ago when we did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees. We talked about doing a Foreigner show, and I had been kicking it around. And I thought, well, if I do it by myself, I'm going to have to write a whole bunch of stuff and make notes and all this kind of crap. And
you do that anyway.
Well, yes and no. Depends. It depends. But when I'm doing this by myself, I want to I want to jot all the information down. And that way there's a tendency for me to not forget when I do that. But when you're here, we just go off of each other. Things come in my head. I bring them up. You respond. You bring things up, and I respond. And I don't really need a lot of notes for that. So
it's just like talking.
It's just having a conversation. Yeah. Two dudes having a conversation. You know what? We didn't even bring is water. Holy cow!
We don't need water.
There's a bottle of Malort over there if we need it.
We're like mammals. Do we need water? Really? No.
Yeah. So no, but we had talked about doing this. Hang on, I'm going to put this banner up right there. We go. But we talked about doing this together, and why not? Just like Journey, Foreigner is one of our absolute favorite bands.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of experiences that we've shared when it comes to Foreigner, whether it's, just listening to the music, going to shows, all that kind of stuff. And I think we're kind of on a Foreigner frenzy right now, being that they were nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so we're kind of ourselves too, or we're riding that wave.
Yeah. We're rooting for them. We'd like to see them make it.
Absolutely. And so now is a good time to get this out, do this show, and talk about one of our absolute favorite bands.
Sounds good to me.
And what I don't want to do is, we're going to go through the discography, but we're going to do it conversationally.
Yeah.
Which is a lot different than I do it when I'm by myself, and I give a little backstory and dates and all that kind of stuff, and it becomes more historical, and I just want this to be more fun and conversational. Just you
and moi.
And you. you and me. How's that? Yeah. So let's just start with where it all began for you, and then I'll talk about where it began for me with Foreigner, how they came on your radar.
Well, it started with listening to KLOS a lot back in the day. They play a lot
Okay.
of Foreigner,
Yeah.
especially Feels Like the First Time. They played that song 1,000 times, and I ended up liking that song. And therefore, the album, our first album, it was a very good album, well done.
Yeah.
That's where it started for me. It's listening to this radio
Uh,
station.
Right there's the first album.
And the first group of musicians.
It's a gem.
Yeah.
It's a great album. It's, if you had to make a list of like the all-time great debut albums in the classic rock space,
That's definitely top 10.
this is
Definitely top
this
10.
is one of them right here.
Yep.
This definitely has to be top 10. This is an absolute gem of an album. And where Foreigner came on my radar, from what I can recall, is like when I hear, I want to say that I think, if memory serves me correctly, the very first Foreigner song I heard was "Cold as Ice," and I want to say it was like on K Earth. Okay. For those of you outside of Southern California, K Earth is a radio station here locally. They've been around for years and years and years. But I think that's where I may have.
So have we.
Well, yeah,
we've been here forever.
Yeah, we have been. But I think that was the first one I heard, and I think I heard it in my mom's car or something like that. And
was that K Earth? It was K Earth 101.
Right, right. And it was just it was a great song. And then I want to say it was probably Feels Like the First Time may have been the next one, even though I believe Feels Like the First Time was the first single released.
Yeah. Well, that's the first time I heard back in the 70s.
Right. But and look, I mean, for those who don't know, okay, there's a reason why the band is called Foreigner. All right. Now, these days, Mick Jones he is Foreigner now. But when the band got together, it was spearheaded by Mick Jones, and then you had Dennis Elliott on drums, Ian McDonald on guitar.
He was writing for them too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ed Gagliardi on keyboards. Al Greenwood was on bass. And then you had Lou Gramm on vocals and percussion. And primarily Lou and Mick did the writing. Yeah. But this was almost like a super group right out of the gate. You had Mick from Spooky Tooth. Lou was from a lesser known band, Black Sheep.
I didn't even know that. Black Sheep, huh?
Yeah, they had a record deal, and Mick had approached Lou prior to the band actually forming, about joining, coming in and joining a band. But Lou had this band, Black Sheep, and he wouldn't leave it. But at one point, I think they were supposed to open for Kiss, and I think they were in an they were in an auto accident or something like that, and all their equipment got destroyed.
Oh, damn.
So these guys are just starting out. They didn't have the money to replace their equipment, not right out of the gate like that. So they didn't get to open for Kiss. And after, I think it was a couple weeks, a month or so, the rest of the guys in the band really started to get discouraged. And Mick came a calling again. And Lou was like, well, these guys are telling me I should get going. I should, we're not going to be able to put our band back together. So I'm in. And the reason why the band is called Foreigner is because it's an English band, except for one guy, Lou Gramm, who's from Rochester, New York, I think it is.
Yeah, that's the original.
So he's the foreigner, Yeah. So I just always thought that was kind of cool. But man, what a group of musicians. I think it was Al Green. What was it? Al Greenwood, or I'm just trying. Or Ian McDonald. Ian McDonald was from King Crimson. He just had a lot of these. I mean, these guys were already established musicians. So to put an album like this together, and this is one of their biggest selling albums. I think the debut album has sold like 6 million copies. As of, I don't know, probably 20 years ago. I'm sure it sold more now.
It went 5 times platinum, so you can imagine.
Yeah. So just an absolute great album. But yes, we don't have any shared experiences with this one as far as shows or tours or anything like that.
We were still in grade school.
We were just a little young. Yeah, we were a little young for that. But
we still like music.
But man, there's just such a good album. What are some of your your favorite song on the album? I don't know.
I just told you what my favorite song was. Feeling Like the First Time.
That's your favorite song?
That's my favorite song on the album. But all the songs are good. Okay. That's my favorite song.
Yeah. If you listen to it, and maybe when we're done here, we'll go on and listen to this a little bit. But
sounds good.
But it is just, there's the big hits. Feels Like the First Time. Long, Long Way from Home.
Oh yeah.
Cold as Ice.
I forgot about that.
I dig, Star Rider. That's a Mick Jones lead vocal. And what's really cool about this album is because like I had said, Ian McDonald came out of King Crimson, a progressive band. There's a little bit of progressiveness on this album. And I just thought that was really kind of cool. But Star Rider is just, I dig that song. And Mick it's not like Mick has this great voice, but I think it was after, I think Double Vision was the last album that Mick took any lead vocals, and he had, I think, two lead vocals on that one. I'm not sure, but Star Rider, great song. I love that one. At War with the World. That's a killer song. It's a killer song. And then I Need You is the last song on the album. We're going to listen to this, man. This is just some dynamite stuff.
It's been a long time since
dynamite stuff. So what do you recall about this one? Double Vision. I mean, come on.
Double Vision, my favorite song.
I mean, it's like you get this great debut album, and then a year later, man, sock it to me, man, right in the face. And another, they just follow it up with this one here, and it's just killer.
They went 7 times platinum.
Killer.
They were the first time. They've been up number 3. And what does that tell you? Number 3.
Yeah.
Hot Blood, man, I gotta tell you. Blue Morning, Blue Days is a good song.
Blue Morning, Blue Days, that's a really good song.
Yeah, that's
really good song. I think when we saw them, and we'll get into that show later, but I think the first time we saw them, they did Blue Morning, Blue Day. Yeah. But okay, like Back Where You Belong. That's a Mick Jones lead vocal on that one. Back Where You Belong. And you and I, we talk about this sometimes. We had a childhood friend named John, and rest in peace, John. Rest in peace, John. He was just.
We're including you.
Yes.
Pay attention.
Yeah, we're bringing you into this one, Johnny. Yeah,
we used to listen to that album all the time.
He
played that LP over
in his family room, and it was right after John got his drum kit.
Yeah.
Remember, his parents bought the drum kit for him.
Yeah.
And we set it up in his family room, and I remember I wanted him to be like a rock star, so we got cinder blocks and we built him a drum riser.
Oh, I missed out on that. I didn't get to see that.
It only stood up about 7 or 8 inches.
What else is going on?
That's where the drum riser. That's where the drum sat the whole time.
I must have missed out.
They sat on the drum riser, but Back Where You Belong. Yeah, that was one we used to just crank all the time. And and John would always sing that really funny. He would see John was a wonderful multi-instrumentalist. He could play the keyboards, he could play the trumpet, and he could play the
He
drums.
can't sing worth a crap.
No, he couldn't carry a tune.
But
if you
he tried.
If you
But
gave
he
it to him in
tried.
a bucket, he couldn't carry
Sorry,
it.
dude, you know what you threw.
But yeah. But he would sing that, and the hook of the song is, you know, back where you belong, you know, the title, and John would say, back where you belong. And it was just so funny.
Oh, remember that we're talking about.
It was
that
just so funny the way he would sing it. But and like I said, John's just another one of those childhood friends. I mean, if he's still here, if he was still here today, we'd say, yeah, we all been hanging out since, you know, for the last 48 years. Yeah. And that's no lie. So,
no,
but man, just some great stuff on Double Vision.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, Mick's got another lead vocal with Back Where You Belong. And then let me put my glasses on here so I can read.
That's why I kept them on.
I know. But then when I look over here, it's fuzzy. And then, I Have Waited So Long. That's another good one. Just a real, I don't want to call it melancholy, but just a real good song. It's just a great album.
Is this more of a rock and roll album or more of a ballad type? I think it's more rock and roll than ballad.
Yeah, you got Hot Blooded with a great guitar solo in it.
And that song is still hitting.
And the thing about Foreigner is Mick Jones is not known for his guitar solos. But Hot Blooded has a nice guitar solo. It's not long, but it's got a nice guitar solo in it. But you know, You're All I Am is a nice, soft, ballady song. And then I Have Waited So Long, a nice ballady song. Back Where You Belong is kind of more of a, it's not exactly ballady. It's a little more up tempo, maybe a mid tempo. Tramontane, though, that one, I have no idea what the heck Tramontane means, but that's like their progressive tune on this album. It's all instrumental, and I've always thought that was just really, really cool. Yeah, just good stuff. And I'm looking right here, originally released June 15th, 1978. Man, just
only took them 12 months, man, just to get that album out. That's incredible these days.
Yeah, but you know what though? Back in the 70s, a lot of bands were putting out 2 albums a year.
Oh.
You know, you had Aerosmith doing it, Kiss was doing it. Now Foreigner didn't put out 2 in 1 year, but they put out in back-to-back years. Trying to remember who else. I was just thinking about this the other day. I think Van Halen did 2 in 1 year. I don't know. I can't recall. But this is a Foreigner show, so here you go. But man, Double Vision. I think we were like in the 7th grade or something when this came out. 7th or 8th. Oh, well, no, we were in the 7th grade. We just finished our 7th grade year going into 8th grade because it came out June 15th. Yeah, so good stuff. But then you start to see, with the 3rd album, you start to see the first lineup change in the band. And that was when I think Al Greenwood was fired by Mick Jones. I think Mick fired him.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would he fire him?
I don't know.
So when you had 2 successful albums, so why would you fire him?
I don't know. He may have left on his own accord. I can't. He might have left on his own accord. But
okay.
But with Head Games, the 3rd album, you had the first lineup change. Al's gone, and they bring in Rick Wills on bass.
Oh, bass.
Okay. And Rick Wills is, you know, I mean, he was in the band probably another 10 years at least. So he really established himself. And I always liked Rick Wills anyway. I always thought he was a good vocalist. He provided great background vocals. I don't know though. What did you think of Head Games?
Subpar compared to the first 2, but it was a good album. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but comparing to the first 2, but that one did go platinum too 5 times. So I mean, it's sold like a good album. It's a good album. I mean, I'm just saying, be comparing to the first 2. That's a tough come around to be a 3rd album. That's good.
As far as I guess heavier rockers, as far as the songs, maybe not as heavy as the debut album, or even some of the tunes like Hot Blooded or Double Vision, or even Blue Morning, Blue Day. Even Lonely Children on Double Vision's a great one too. A great guitar riff. But yeah, maybe not quite as heavy, but I really, really like the Head Games album. It's really, really good. It's got my song, Dirty White Boy.
Yeah, we used to sing it to him all the time because it's the truth, but it's what it is.
And I always thought the title track "Head Games." I thought that was just such a
that's a really good song. I like the song. I love that song. That's
such a great song.
Head Games,
but
I don't think so.
Yeah,
but I mean, just the song itself is a good song.
And women behind bars, women in fast cars, women in distress, women with no dress, women in aeroplanes, women who sip champagne. I can't remember all of it, but it's something like that, people.
Leave it to the professionals,
please. And it's sang by Lou Gramm, but it almost doesn't sound like Lou. So it's really, really cool. It's just a cool groove. It's a good album. And the band caught a lot of crap for that cover. They caught a lot of crap for that cover, being a girl in a men's bathroom
sitting on the urinal.
Well, but she's not exactly sitting on it. She's kind of leaning on it, but she looks like what she's doing. It looks like she's trying to wipe graffiti off the stall, like maybe somebody put her phone number up there, But they caught crap for that. Imagine with the wokeness we have in today's society, could they come up? Could they deliver that album cover? Probably not. Yeah.
The way the world is.
Yeah. But man, just, three straight bang. I mean, I shouldn't say bangers, 3 straight solid albums, great albums. And then
they come out with
1981
came out with their best one.
The one that
the
one that just blows everything out of the water, the one that stands up against, almost any album, especially of that era.
Yeah.
And if not you got 2 absolutely dynamite albums that came out about a month apart in 1981.
And that was number 1 for quite a while.
You had this one, and what was the other one that came out? Come on. It's your number 2. I
don't remember.
Escape.
Journey Escape. Okay, my bad.
That
was my number 1 Journey album. This guy thinks he knows.
This guy over here.
Hey, this is a Foreigner show, not a Journey show.
That's right. No,
Thank you.
This is a Foreigner show. But now let's see. With Foreigner 4, we saw another change in the lineup. Ed Gagliardi gone. Ian McDonald gone. So Foreigner now goes from a 6-piece band down to 4. And then Mick Jones, they would just bring in studio musicians to round out the sound. And remember, they carried studio musicians on the road with them. Mark Rivera and Mark Rivera would play guitar. He would play saxophone. They had Bob Mayo on keyboards, and Bob Mayo used to play with Peter Frampton. He was in Frampton's band. But Mark Rivera's done so much stuff. But
didn't Junior Walker play Urgent, at least at the smaller part? That was awesome.
Well, Junior Walker, he recorded the sax solo on Urgent, yes. And this album was the tour that Spaz and I that was our first Foreigner show. And that was in 1982, that we were juniors in high school. And kind of told the story before, but we had Come on, dude. We had to be like 12th row on the floor.
Yeah, we
had great seats.
We had six tickets.
They were sick.
They were.
Oh my gosh, couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, right on the floor. Like I said, it probably was 10th or 12th row, and something we had
$14.50 each.
Something we
now it's more like $150.
Well,
each, but I mean, at that time, that was just expensive at that time.
But what was so cool is something we had never experienced before. Yeah. Because I mean, it was just less than 3 years prior to that was my very first concert, seeing Kiss, same building at the Forum.
Yeah.
However, I was sitting up in the loge section. You and I, we're on the floor.
Yeah.
And
too close to scare.
And this is and this is the way it used to be back in the 70s and the 80s. And when the headliner came on, anybody who was on the floor rushed the stage.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't have a seat anymore. Everybody was just in the aisles and the front, crowding the stage, pushing up against it. And you and I, we stayed in our seats. And I think we even had aisle seats. But you remember there were two guys in front of us.
Yeah.
And there were two buddies. And one of them was standing on the chair instead of standing on the floor. He's standing on the chair right in front. He's blocking you, and we're like, "Hey, dude! Yeah. And then it was, I don't know, a few songs into it.
Then he falls
out of the chair.
We all started laughing at him.
We started laughing. He didn't get back up on the chair.
That's what he gets.
He didn't get back up on the chair anymore.
Trying to block off our scenery.
But not only
now I remember that,
man. But what a great album! Okay, all right, come on. What you got to give me a couple of your favorite songs on this album?
Waiting for a Girl Like You, of course.
Okay.
And Urgent, of course.
There's
my two right there.
Those are the biggest hits off.
Yeah, well, they're also my favorites.
Okay.
So you asked me to give you two.
I think Foreigner released 4 or 5 singles off the album. It was Urgent, Waiting for a Girl Like You. I think it was Break It Up and Don't Let Go were the main singles that went to top 40 radio.
Break It Up's a good song too.
And then I think Luann was another single.
That's another good song too.
Yeah.
That whole album was really good.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Every song on it.
And I do. I love Urgent, Waiting for a Girl Like You. I'm Waiting for a Girl Like You spent 10 weeks at number 2 on the top 40. And you know what kept it out of the top spot? 5 of those weeks. 5 weeks was, I believe it was Hall & Oates. I Can't Go For That. And 5 weeks was Physical. Olivia Newton-John.
God rest her soul.
Yeah. But you got like, I'm Gonna Win. Man, Lou's vocals on that song. That's just killer. He's just like, he is just going all out. And one of my favorites. I like the beginning of the song. It's got a great open. It's got a great guitar solo. And like I said earlier, Mick Jones is not known for his guitar solos. Foreigner as a band is not known for guitar solos.
Yeah.
Woman in Black.
Oh, yeah.
Man, what a killer song.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
What a killer song.
That whole album was so great. Even Girl on the Moon. I like the melody in that song. Their very last song. It's like
Girl on the Moon. Great.
Every song on that album was really good.
Yep. I mean, this album by itself, they could have released every single song to radio. I bought
a bunch of singles.
They
could bought the stupid album too. Easily. So I spent all this money on that particular album.
But you know, and did you know, or do you know who played the keyboards on this album? He did all the keyboard and synthesizer work on this album.
Oh, I can't remember who it was.
Completely unknown at the time. Some of you out there, you might know.
Leave a comment and tell us. We don't know. We have to look at the book.
No. And when you look in the liner notes here, you'll see Thomas Dolby. Yes. She Blinded Me with Science. Thomas Dolby.
The one-hit wonder.
Which is kind of cool because the album before Head Games, there's a song on here, Blinded by Science. Kind of cool. But yeah, Thomas Dolby played the keyboards and synthesizers on Foreigner 4.
Yeah.
And check this out. Check it out.
I couldn't find my shirts.
I dug it out. This is my Foreigner 4 concert T-shirt.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was the back side of it. A little choo-choo train. I don't know what the train meant, but there. And it's got the date on there, January 29th through February 1st.
That's a super
so they had what, like 3 or 4 dates there at the Forum. Yeah.
That shirt's over 40 years old.
This shirt this shirt's 43 years old. 43 years old. And I dug it out.
Wow.
I dug it out, and Catherine says, "Oh wow, that's a cool shirt."
No, you're not wearing it.
I can wear that.
You're not wearing my shirt.
It looks a little small, and I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "That was
a little small at the time."
1981. It's a medium.
Yeah. We're all got a little fatter and a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Cool stuff, though, man. It's just so awesome.
The last Foreigner shirt I had, what show did we sell? But we go in the parking lot and bought one of their shirts, and I bought one. I washed it, and everything fell apart. Half an arm went this way, half arm went that way. I
still have that shirt. We'll get into that. Yeah. So then, nothing really to talk about with Foreigner's greatest hits album, Foreigner Records, but this is probably their biggest selling album in the catalog, which is kind of the way it is with a lot of bands when they release a greatest hit.
Yeah.
That'll because that brings out the casual fan. A greatest hits package does. People that they just want to hear the hit songs. They don't care about the deep cuts or the album tracks, that kind of thing. So they just want the hits, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, a lot of times
there was only like 10 songs on that thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and song number 10 was "Hot Blooded," the live version, which is just
that's just stupid song, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's so
still is. They still play it.
Like I said, it's just stupid good, man.
Well, that's what I meant. I didn't mean stupid. It's
no,
stupid.
I know that's what you meant.
I mean, it's stupid good.
So the next time Spaz and I go see Foreigner is for that tour right there. Agent Provocateur. That was the follow-up to Foreigner 4. Yeah. This was 1985. And I love this album. I love it. I love it. It didn't sell nearly as well as Foreigner 4 or even the first two, the debut or
it only went 3 times platinum, so it kind of just took steam away from the number
That's
4.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And it's kind of weird that it only went triple platinum at the time. Yeah. Look, and we get a lot of our figures when it comes to discography. We get it from the same place you'll get it from, and that's Wikipedia. But the thing is you don't know how old that information is, and it's probably the numbers have probably changed.
Sure.
However, for a band, you have to pay to get your catalog recertified, and I don't know what the fee is, but it's an expensive fee to pay the RIAA to recertify your catalog. So, but you know what? We're going to stay with 3 times platinum.
Yeah, we're going to do our best to stay with even the information that we are able to get.
Right, but 3 times platinum.
That's still accessible album. I mean,
there are so many bands out there that would kill to get
1 times platinum. Then we get 1 time platinum.
Yeah, just hey, I'd like to go platinum on this show here.
Yeah, can you give us a hand? Can you give us a finger? Can you give us a thumb?
I say it at the end of every episode. Tell a friend, okay? But so what are? I'll tell you what some of my favorites on this album are. I think that. Well, I'll let you go first.
No, I in particular. Do
you want to look at the track listing?
Yeah, I don't know what's on the track. I mean, it's a long time since I've heard this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's the track listing. Go ahead and look at that one, and then I'll.
Oh, Tooth and Nail. That was a rough song. I loved it.
That's a great.
I want to know where love is, of course.
Of course, the biggest song in the history of the band.
Yeah.
I want to know what love is, and you would think that would push that album beyond triple platinum.
Oh, She's Too Tough's a great song too.
She's Too Tough is great.
Good rock.
Tough is great.
It's a good rock song.
But and Tooth and Nail, such a great song to lead off the album with. And it's a heavy song. I like one of my favorites, Stranger in My Own House. Love it. Another great guitar solo by Mick Jones. And when we saw them on this tour, we saw them. We had floor seats again too.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think they were as good as our Foreigner 4 seats, but we had floor seats again for this one. But and I think we talked about it before. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band opened up this
was the Forum again, if I'm not mistaken.
This wasn't the wait a minute.
Beaver Brown Band.
No, this one was at the LA Sports Arena.
Yeah.
Okay. This one was the LA Sports Arena.
That's correct. Yeah.
But
John Cafferty was really good that day too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a Foreigner.
But they played Stranger in My Own House that night, and I just about lost my lost my head on that. And Mick just dragged out that guitar solo, and it was so fabulous. So good. Oh, you know what? I forgot to say it though, and I'm going to go back to Foreigner 4 because it's a great thing to bring up. No, it is. It really is. We talked about Junior Walker on Urgent.
Yes, we did.
And when we saw them, Junior Walker was out. He came out on stage and did the solo.
Yeah, he did do the solo.
And if you remember, him and Mark Rivera, because Mark Rivera was, like I said, he plays sax, he plays guitar and all that stuff. He comes down and him and Junior are going back and forth. And it was so good. And like I said, you and I were juniors in high school.
I just can't remember. I can't believe you remember.
I heard the name Junior Walker before, but I didn't know who Junior Walker was. Like I said, I had heard his name.
Yeah.
And to see these two guys going back and forth was just awesome.
Yeah.
And what made me think of that is during this tour, in all the cities that the band would play in, they brought out a local choir to sing "I Want to Know What Love Is."
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And they did that. And that was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they had, 15, 20 people from a local choir come out and do "I Want to Know What Love Is." And man, it was just so powerful.
Yeah. The background vocals just was awesome.
Yeah. You know, what's just really, really cool is, Lou Gramm, one of the greatest singers in rock history. One of the greatest. Great voice. Great musicianship in Foreigner. Great songs. Not known for harmonies. They're not. They don't have, if you listen to their songs, they don't have harmony. They have background vocals, but they don't have harmonies. And I don't know what made me think of this. I guess I was thinking about it 3 weeks ago, listening to some Foreigner. I'm going, there's no harmonies, but man, there's a background vocal here and there's a background vocal there, and it just brings everything together and it makes it just sound so good. So good. There it is again. So good. But I think though, getting back to, there is some great stuff on Agent Provocateur. And this kind of does get, there's other Foreigner albums that really get lost in the mix, but this one kind of does get lost because most people just think of this album for one song, and that's "I Want to Know What Love Is," of course. But there's some killer tracks on here. It seemed though on this one, the production was a little more polished or slick, I guess, because they introduced a lot of keyboards in this one, on this album, but I still love it though. I just like it. And one of my absolute favorite songs on here is the track number 9, Two Different Worlds. Starts out as a slow song, and by the time it ramps up on the back half of the song, behind a great guitar solo, another one by a band that's not known for their guitar solos. it just kicks in. Two different worlds. Listen to it. Check it out. You'll know what I'm saying. You'll know exactly what I'm saying and what I'm talking about. You do it too.
Yeah.
We're going to do it after the show. That's what we're doing. It's going to be a Foreigner frenzy.
That's our plan.
Yeah. Once we hit stop, that's it. It's all over but the shock. So I don't know. That was like 1985 for Agent Provocateur.
Yeah.
Then the guys went on like a 2-year break. And now this one really, really does get lost. And that's Inside Information. Released on the back half of 1987. And
actually it's December.
Does it say December?
They say December.
Okay. Well, that's still
Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. December 7th.
Pearl Harbor Day?
Yeah, December 7th.
And the thing with Inside Information, look, there was a lot of tension in the band at that time, let's just say. Mostly between Lou and Mick.
Creative differences?
A little bit of creative differences. Yes, there were a little bit of creative differences. And some of it came from Mick liked to have more ballads on the albums, and Lou wanted more rockers. And so there was that difference in creativity there a little bit. But I think not only was it that, but there was some tension over the songwriting credits for I Want to Know What Love Is.
Oh, really? I
yes.
Hear about that.
And in fact, let me go back to this here really quick. Let's see who gets the songwriting credits here. It should be. Oh, it doesn't say. Let me see.
It does. But
well, it doesn't say it on the song itself. So let me see if it says it. Usually it'll say like, oh, there it is. Yeah, see, it just says Mick Jones. And Lou contends that he was responsible for about 40% of that song. And they could never come together on that. And you can see Mick Jones is getting 100% writer's credit. And he only wanted to offer Lou like 5%. So it would have been a 95 to 5% split. And Lou just basically told him, stick it where the sun doesn't shine.
He has every right to be upset, but he sung that song beautifully.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he deserves a lot more credit than 5%.
Well, and we don't know, but he does claim that, he wrote about 40% of it. It doesn't matter if it was on the music end of it or if it was on the lyrical side of it.
Yeah.
You're coming together, you're collaborating.
Agreed.
But anyway, so between creative differences and songwriting credits, yeah, and of course with their biggest song, I heard Lou say something fairly recently that off of that one song alone, Mick's probably made like $30 million.
What a shame.
Jeez, can you imagine on one song? Are you kidding?
Huh.
Jeez. Anyway, so back to Inside Information, a great one. I don't know how familiar you are with this one.
I am familiar, but off the top of my head, you're asking me to remember what happened 40 years ago, so I'd have to probably go through the
big single. The big single was "Say You Will."
Oh, yeah.
Say you will, say you won't. Yeah, that's just a great song.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of heavy stuff on this album. The lead track on it. Heart Turns to Stone, pretty heavy. Pretty heavy, but then the next one, the one that follows that up, track number 2, Can't Wait. Man. Oh, man. I love it. Hang on. I got to make a note here. I got to write these like songs down that we're going to listen to in our frenzy.
We're listening to the whole CD. I don't understand what he's talking about. We're listening to the whole thing anyway.
I don't want to.
Oh, you want to hear it more than once, twice?
Maybe.
I can see that.
Maybe. Can't wait. I just got to write them down so I don't forget.
Okay, fair enough.
Wait, but the last time we were supposed to have a rock and roll frenzy after the show, we didn't. We sat here and talked forever, and we didn't listen to anything, and then you went home.
Hey, I was asleep 2 hours before that. Give me a break.
Yeah. But yeah, can't wait. So so good. It's so good. And that's where I was talking about, like, these background vocals. They just come from here and come from there. And sometimes it's Lou doubling, and not doubling up, but it's Lou singing some of the background stuff as well. But just the other guys in the band it's so good. And if you listen to it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Hard Turn to Stone's a really good song. I like that.
Yeah, it is. That is. And Say You Will is such a catchy song. Yeah. It's such a catchy tune. Yeah. I just dig it. And but they've got Mick got his way, and there's like 2 or 3 ballady songs on here. Counting Every Minute. Oh, that's such a good song. Even the title track, Inside Information, is good. It's just, listen, folks, listen. I don't care if you're a casual fan or a hardcore fan of this band. Check this album out. It is that good. It really, really is. And it didn't get its it really didn't get its just due. On the top 40 radio side, it didn't. No. Say You Will, and I think I Don't Want to Live Without You were like the singles to top 40. But Heart Turns to Stone, Can't Wait, Inside Information, those were all being played on rock radio. But rock radio doesn't drive the top 40 chart so much. So the album didn't get it didn't get what it only
made top 15. That's as far as it went.
So unfortunately, and I think it only went platinum.
It only went platinum.
Yeah. But it really is good.
It didn't get enough airplay.
It stands up with everything else. And you know what I remember about this? Okay, excuse me. Tell me if you remember. For a short time, I want to say 2 years, 3 years. It was remember there was a radio station. It was like Cute 102 or something. It was like a disco station but in 1987, it was probably mid 87. They changed formats and it became FM 102. Mm-hmm. Now, the program director and the afternoon jock, I want to say the drive time jock. So in radio speak, that's usually from like 2:00 in the afternoon to 6:00 in the evening. Okay. Was J.J. Jackson. Mm-hmm.
I remember him.
Original MTV VJ. Yeah. For those of you who are of our age,
speak for yourself. I'm much younger.
You're much prettier. You're much prettier.
What a bunch of
the two of us.
No, we're both the same age.
But I remember hearing something. Now you may remember this name too, old folks. Rick Dees. Remember he was on Kiss FM, which was a top 40.
Quack.
Yeah, top 40 station. Well, Rick had reported something about Foreigner that they were canceling the Inside Information tour, which I think they did. But J.J. Jackson, I'm listening to FM 102, and he plays one of the songs off of Inside Information. Then he back announces the song, and he says something about, oh, yeah, they're going to be coming to town, blah, 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 blah. So I thought, wait a minute. Like 2 weeks ago, I just heard that they were canceling. So, okay, like a dumb 21-year-old, 22-year-old kid, I call the radio station, and JJ answers the phone. I said, hey, JJ, I said, I heard that Foreigner was canceling their tour. And he had just said that they were coming to town. He's like, no. And I said, well, but I heard Rick Dees say it. And when I said Rick Dees, he just flipped. And he started screaming at me and cussing at me on the phone. And then he hangs up on me.
Well, give me that if you were recording it, that would have been some conversation.
That'd have been funny. I didn't get too offended. I did like J.J. Jackson. He was I mean, he was a staple. He was on LA radio and KLOS in the 70s. And then I'm not sure where he was right before he went to MTV, but then he was like the mentor to the original VJs on MTV. He was like I don't want to say their ringleader. He was their mentor. And then he came back to LA radio. In fact, he did bring Mark Goodman out for a while on FM 102. But that's when I listen to Inside Information, bringing it back to Foreigner, when I listen to Inside Information, that's kind of what I think of.
Who can blame you?
Well, it's just funny. So after that album, Foreigner, well, they don't split up, but Lou Gramm leaves. Lou Gramm leaves the band. So yeah, canceled the tour. The album didn't do well. There was tension because the album wasn't selling very well. And so Lou leaves the band, releases a couple of solo albums. Great stuff. They did very well. Yeah. Both of those solo albums did. And I think it was about 1990. Wait, where is it? Yeah, like 1991. Mick goes out and grabs a guy by the name of Johnny Edwards to take over lead vocals for Lou, and they release this right there, Unusual Heat.
I don't even think I own that album.
And this would be Johnny Edwards' one and only album with Foreigner. And they had a kind of a minor hit. It was Low Down and Dirty, which is a good song. It really is. It's a good song. I enjoyed it very much so. It didn't do a ton on top 40 radio, but it got played fairly heavy on rock radio. And then I think they had another single they released. I think it was I'll Fight for You or something like that. But the album didn't do much at all. It just didn't. It just kind of fell flat. And I'll be honest with you too, outside of those two songs, I have probably listened to this disc once. I have to be honest, as hardcore a fan as I am of Foreigner. Yeah, I've listened to it like one time.
And I don't plan on listening to it again.
All right, we won't listen to it tonight. No. Okay, we won't listen to it tonight.
No.
Now, and you don't own this one, right?
No, I do not.
No?
No Lou Gramm, no buy.
Yeah. Well, I remember them coming back in 92. 92, Mick and Lou kind of mended fences. And I believe at that time, Rick Wills left the band, and I don't know if Dennis Elliott did just yet, but they did release this best of package, the very best and beyond. And basically they're featuring Lou and Mick. You've got a guitar player and you got a singer. So you can say from that point forward, this band was built around Mick and Lou. But the one song, the package had, I think, 3 new songs.
Yeah, the first string.
Yeah, Soul Doctor, Prisoner of Love, and With Heaven on Your Side. And songs 2 and 3 are kind of ballady songs.
Yeah, but the first one was a great
Soul Doctor.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Man, that one just
that moves you.
Hold on. Soul Doctor, I'm writing it down.
No, S-O-U-L, not S-O.
S-O-U-L.
Okay.
And just good stuff. Killer stuff, man. That is such a great song. And I had tickets to see them on this, if you want to call it a reunion tour, kind of, whatever it was you want to call it. And it was on a work night, and I wasn't gonna be able to make the show, and I gave my tickets to Matt Davis.
Oh, what'd you do that for?
I don't know.
Why didn't you call me?
Who
in the hell's Matt Davis?
You know who Matt Davis is, knucklehead?
That's Tagar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we know Matt Davis.
Yes, we
do.
Good
guy.
Yes,
Good
we
guy.
do. But yeah, I couldn't make that show, so I gave the tickets, and that was that. Then right after that, Foreigner released Classics Live. Was it or yeah, Classic Hits Live. That's a great package too.
Yeah,
there's some great stuff
but
on
it's
there.
live, so it's
but it sounds so good though.
They're a good live band. You know that.
Well, yes, they always have been.
Yeah.
Always have been. And then this is 1995, I think it was. I don't know. Something like 1995, 1996. I know you people, and I just pulled it away again. I know you people don't even know about this one. Mr. Moonlight.
Yep.
Let me get the glare off of there. Mr. Moonlight.
Under the Gun, good song.
Under the Gun's a good song. I was actually just listening to this earlier, and it's pretty good. But I will say that as far as Foreigner albums go, this one is a little, it's not, I don't want to call it mellow, but it
is mellow.
It's like Foreigner light almost. It's not real heavy. Not that Foreigner is a hard driving heavy band, but they're a hard rock band. And this is a little less than hard rock, not in a pop sense. It's just not as hard.
Yeah.
But it's good. But we saw them on this tour.
Yes, we did.
We saw them on this tour. It was Boys Night Out. You and me.
Yep.
And John.
Yep.
Our buddy John. Yep. And Jake.
Yeah.
My son Jake. He was 9 years old. And that was his first concert. Remember where we saw it?
They're not there anymore. Universal Amphitheater.
That's right. Universal Amphitheater. And it's not there anymore.
That was a bitchin' place.
That was a really, really cool place to see a show.
Very good.
6,500 capacity, I think is what it was. Yeah. Nice theater. And
every seat was a good seat, but we had great seats. We were like fourth row, far right-hand side.
We had tremendous seats that night. Man.
Again,
they were so good.
They were very good.
And remember, it was a triple bill. It was Cheap Trick, Loverboy, and Foreigner.
What a great show that was that night.
Yeah,
especially Loverboy.
Yeah, that was a great show. Great night of rock and roll.
We got to do a Loverboy show too because we've done quite a few of their shows.
We do, yeah. You know what? And they're going to be out this summer. Yeah. We gotta get some tickets for that. Yeah, they'll be out with Sammy Hagar, so we gotta check that show out.
I haven't seen Sammy Hagar yet,
so that would be nice. Yeah, but that was cool. Jake was in awe, his first concert, and like you said, I mean, we had great seats. I mean, talk about being close enough to scare the band.
Yeah, we were pretty close to scaring them.
And Jake was
maybe I did.
Jake was just as a matter of fact, I let my 9-year-old son wear my Foreigner 4 t-shirt, and he wore it to the show. I took my program for Agent Provocateur since we were going to be so close. I was thinking maybe I could get an autograph on the program.
Wrong.
Yeah. But Jake dug it. He got a guitar pick or two from Rick Nielsen. It just was a great show. Great set by Foreigner.
They were loud,
sounding so good.
They were really good. Loud.
But then, like I said, there was a big change in the lineup.
Another one.
Bruce Turgon, who actually had been friends with Lou Gramm for many years, was in his first band, Black Sheep, was now on bass. And I'm trying to remember who the drummer was. It wasn't Dennis Elliott. Dennis Elliott had left the band at that time. And without tearing out the booklet and looking through, I can't remember. Was it Mark Schulman? I can't remember. It might have been Mark Schulman.
Now you're gonna
now I'm gonna have to take out the booklet and look. It's just, if you're gonna do it right.
Do it right.
That's right. Who sings that song? If you're gonna do it right.
Well, you right now, it doesn't sound good. Sorry.
Come on. I'm a singer of songs.
I'm speaking for Calbota. He knows he's saying the same thing.
That's what he was saying? But guys, I'm a singer of songs. Oh no, wait. They actually do not credit a drummer on this album.
Why?
I don't know. It's
what about the additional musicians?
Yeah, right. But I mean, as far as the band itself, you've got Mick Jones, Lou Gramm, Bruce Turgon, who's playing bass, and Jeff Jacobs. It says piano, organ, keyboards, background vocals.
Nobody listened. Wow.
So, but I do think it was Mark Schulman on drums, but I guess he was just an additional musician.
Yeah. So it was just for that particular album.
Yeah, but yeah, Mr. Moonlight, definitely an unknown album, a forgotten album.
It didn't even go platinum. It didn't even go platinum.
I don't even think it went gold.
I didn't go that either. According to this, it's 136 is as far as they got.
But then again, at that time, you're talking 95, 96. The whole music climate had changed. We're on the back end of grunge.
Yeah.
Radio completely changed and forgot about all these bands that we grew up loving. Just didn't play them anymore. So they weren't even going to get airplay on this stuff here. But we saw them on that tour, and and that's where we got our beat up T-shirts.
The one that
our counterfeit,
the best $10 I didn't spend.
Our counterfeit T-shirts that I think I still have it too, just to have it. And like after I washed it, it all went crooked.
So my letters came off, and the numbers were all. It was weird.
Terrible.
It was hysterical. I had to throw it away.
Terrible. But
let go one piece of thing, and the whole thing came apart.
I think in one
seam,
I think in one seam, I don't know if it was in the underarm or on the side. I think in one seam there's like a piece of fabric sticking out, like they double sewed it.
And you took it out, and the whole shirt fell apart.
Yeah, I do have that. I do have that T-shirt.
We try to support the poor people who are trying to make money off of this, and look what happened.
We got
screwed. We got kind of screwed.
These bogus T-shirts,
We didn't want to pay $45 for a T-shirt anymore.
Well, but that was a good show.
It was.
And then the unfortunate part is Lou started having health issues right after that. He had his brain tumor and he had his surgery and everything, but even through his recovery, the meds that he was on, he put on a lot of weight. His voice changed. He had a hard time singing, and we saw them a couple of times. I want to say did we see them 2 times open for Journey? I just want to. It comes to mind that we saw them 2 times open for Journey.
I think so. I just trying to remember what
like on back-to-back years or something like that.
I think we did.
Yeah, we saw him out at Blockbuster Pavilion.
Yeah.
Which for everyone out there watching or listening, it used to be Glen Helen. It was where the US Festival in 1982 and 1983 was held. Yeah. But yeah, I think we did. And Lou sounded horrible. Sounded terrible. But I don't think it was at that time. I don't remember if it was known that he came off of a brain tumor and was going through all this recovery and all that. But just remember, it just didn't sound good. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of the greatest voices ever. And he's just having such a hard time with it. And then I remember seeing them at Pechanga Casino. And it was just Foreigner by themselves, no opening act. And every time I would see them, I would think, okay, he's got to get better. And it just wasn't getting any better. And it was sad to see because I love that band so much, And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was lose decision, mixed decision, mutual decision, or not, whatever it was. But Lou and Mick parted ways about 2004, 2005, right in that area. And that's when Mick brought in Kelly Hansen.
Yeah.
And look, I've said it before on this show that Kelly Hansen does a fine job. He does a great job. He does a great job of singing that material.
Yeah, he's a good front man.
He is a good front man.
Good.
He really is.
So.
But well, you know, what was it? 07 or 09 or whatever it was. They released Can't Slow Down. And that what year was that? 2009 they released Can't Slow Down. And I bet you all don't even know about this one. This is the last studio album by Foreigner. Now you can go on their website. You can go on whatever.
I got mine at Walmart.
Whatever place. Yeah, this was. I think this was
special.
A Walmart exclusive.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah, the only place you can get it was from there.
And but look, you wherever you buy your music, you can see a bazillion compilation packages from Foreigner. But that's what they are. They're all compilations, greatest hits, best of. You know, this, that, the other thing, some live albums, so on and so on. But this is the last studio release because this CD package here was, it was
remastered, wasn't it?
Well, it was a brand new CD, which was disc 1. Disc 2 was like the hits, re-recorded with Kelly, and then. The third one was a DVD. It was a live performance, right?
And it was a really good performance too. I mean, I thought it was.
But this album didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything. And well, in 2009, nobody was selling music anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
I reached 29. So.
But the thing that for me, as much as I absolutely love this band, that I find troubling is that look. We all know Mick is the only original member in the band now, and he doesn't even play anymore. He doesn't play in the band anymore. He's not a part of the band, so to speak. He's on all the all the posters and the press and all that. But if you look at a lot of stuff, the focus is on Kelly Hansen.
Yeah.
It's like he is now Foreigner.
Yeah, it's their base.
But it's not... To me, they've just become a nostalgic act because they haven't put out any material in 15 years.
And they're not going to.
No, they're not. They're not. And I talked about it before when I ranted about farewell tours.
Yeah, that's much crud.
And that's kind of upsetting that, you know, we thought we were seeing them for the last time. And then now they're out again this year. And you know, we might be two knuckleheads that go see that show again just because it's a great bill.
Yeah, they do perform real well. I mean, there's a few songs I wish they would have sung, but we went with what they offered, and you know, it was a good show.
Yeah,
just not a great show for it. It would have been greater if they played other songs that we liked, but
they didn't. Right, but it's just now it's just been, and those guys play everything so well. They do a fabulous job. But it's just not that same band that we grew up with because it's
not Lou Graham.
Since that final split in like 04 or whatever, it's just been a revolving door of musicians. The only stable one besides Mick, and like I said, in the last 10 years, he hasn't even hardly been a part of the band, is Kelly.
Yeah.
And outside of Kelly, it's just been one guy after another, you know, like I said, a revolving door of musicians. And so it's just not the same band. And that's the thing that's upsetting. I don't know. I kind of wish it could be like 1981 all over again, you know?
Yeah. Let's back 40 years and get rid of all my gray hair. And bring me back to normal.
We'd be 16 and 17 years old again. That wouldn't be so bad, right?
Yeah, not at all.
You know, a lot better shape too.
Yeah.
But, you know, the bottom line though, is we have so many shared experiences with one of our favorite bands, Foreigner, and we still love this band, and we're always going to love this band. And it was so great. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago. It was so great when they finally got their just due and at least got nominated.
Yeah,
now,
least.
the Foreigner's manager, and Mark Ronson, he's a record producer, and he is Mick Jones' stepson, but he's like huge in the music industry. They are out there just hammering home how badly Foreigner needs to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for doing that, because if they're not going to go out and wave the flag, there might not be a lot of other people that do, unfortunately, especially at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because for all that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, it's not a lot of rock and roll the last 10 years,
Yeah.
So, but it's certainly nice to see one of our favorite bands finally get their nomination.
Going up against Mary J. Blige. Come on, Mary J. Blige is not rock and roll.
You know what I found out?
What did you find out?
Since we did our nominees and snubs show, we each selected 5.
Yeah.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame changed it this year. You can now vote for 7. And there's exactly 7 rock acts on the ballot out of the 15 nominees.
So pretty much half the group's going to make it.
But yeah, I don't know. It changed from 5 to 7.
Sorry, Mariah Carey, you're not a rock and roll band. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Great singer, not a rock and roll person. Sorry.
Foreigner, man, such a great band, and
they're going to be out again with Styx during the summer. I mean, that would be a great show to see. But again, they were supposed to not be playing anymore. Yeah. It's hard to support.
Yes.
To support Foreigner when they say, "Hey, we're no longer going to be out there," but yet they are.
Kelly stood at the edge of the stage and said that.
He sat there.
He pretty much said that.
He told everybody. He told everybody there, and I was there too. He told us. This is going to be our last tour, blah, 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 blah. We thought it was okay. Great, man. We saw history. But we didn't even see Mick Jones either. We were looking forward to at least see him come out and play Hot Blooded or play a song. Not the whole set, but I mean, at least play a song.
Right.
And the man never came out, and that disappointed me a lot, greatly.
Well.
For the money we paid for those tickets. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
We paid to see Foreigner.
But like I said, it's one of our absolute favorite bands, and it's just it's these bands here,
that keeps us going.
Foreigner, Journey, Loverboy, Kiss, that takes us right back to when we were kids, and a lot of good times. So that's why we hang on to these things here, It's why, look, my kids for years have said, "Dad, you're stuck in the 80s." And they're not being truthful when they say that, because I'm stuck in the 70s and the 80s. So,
I got my 3 girls. They all listen to Journey. They love it. They love the 80s. They hate today's groups.
But you and I both did a great job of parenting when we introduced our kids to this great music that we grew up on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You'll agree out there. That's great parenting.
Yeah.
You know it is.
Yes. It kept them out of trouble. Sure it did.
It kept us out of trouble, and it provided us with a lot of good times, whether it was cruising up and down Whittier Boulevard, running around on a baseball or football field, or
trying to get to the Forum without a car.
Well, that too. Messing around on the beach, whatever it was we were doing, running up and down the halls in high school, and it always brought back, and it still brings back just some great memories. And
I'll say it.
It's great music and great memories.
Yeah.
And couldn't be happier for Foreigner.
But that's why I'm here.
They deserve this show. And I didn't want to do it by myself, and I had to do it with my wingman. He's becoming.
I enjoy being here. It's a lot of fun being with this guy I've known for over 40 years and enjoying the same music and just talking about it. I mean, just
wait. He said over 40 years. 48.
Okay, well,
yeah,
when he was 10, I guess. Yeah.
Jeez.
Man,
it's just nuts, man. People aren't going to believe we're that old.
Yeah, people look at it
like, man, you guys are young.
Yeah. So they say.
Hey, before we close this thing out, did you play any softball this week?
No, the rain.
Oh, they closed the
field. The rain killed our season. Season's over.
Oh, really?
So we have to start a new season in April.
Oh, okay.
Because the rain's killed.
They just said take the next few weeks off.
Yeah,
we'll start back up in April.
Kind of good. It's kind of
all right.
Crazy out there with
all right. How's everything else going though?
Everything's good so far, so good. How you
health wise? Everything's good.
Yeah, just tired all the time. I wish I wasn't so tired.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
and I got to deal with that.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I was hoping that we'd get Nancy here today. She didn't necessarily have to come on the show, but she could have sat over here in the studio and watched us do this. You know,
she learned something.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, she was used to her oldies. She never, I got her into the rock and roll business with taking her to see Foreigner, taking her to see Pat Benatar, taking her to see Journey. She'd never heard any of that stuff.
She didn't hear any of that stuff till 1985 when you guys started dating.
Yeah. Well, and then we ended up getting married 2 years later. So,
that's right.
That was awesome, man. That was just, I wouldn't take it all back. It was just interesting.
I still remember. I still remember that coming over to the house. That was when Lucy and Matt and Hav and me were all 4 roommates in one house, and it was like a party house, wasn't it?
It was always a different time.
It was always something going on. Didn't matter what night of the week it was. Yeah, good times.
That's where I first tried Ace with mustard, and don't ask me. It tasted okay, but Javier's nuts, man. He cooked me breakfast with
eggs
with mustard, and then he hated the fact that he hated being hot. So his whole room was always 38 degrees.
Yep.
And he
slept with a knife about this long.
Well, I don't know about that part.
It was about that big. He had this big. It wasn't. It was. You think Rambo had a big knife? Yeah. Remember the scene in Crocodile Dundee where the guy comes up with a switchblade, and Dundee says, "That's not a knife. That's a knife." Hobbs made that thing look small. Well,
anyways, we could talk about that all the time.
We actually could.
If we can get those guys to come on the show.
Yeah.
And they don't want to because they're worried about, giving away stuff or bad stuff that happened to them back in the day. But you know what?
We were
kids. We did stupid stuff when we were kids.
We didn't. Yeah, but we
grew up.
It was all mischievous stuff. We weren't out breaking into houses or knocking over old ladies for their Social Security checks.
We were throwing lemons at cars and picking up cones for no reason at all. For our football.
We were stealing cones to mark our football field.
We did some dumb things, but it's just too bad that they can't come on.
It was kid stuff.
They're I don't know what they're afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about my life all day long. I don't care. It won't bother me. Be nice to you guys who knew about it. But
we'll get those knuckleheads. We'll get those knuckleheads for a tough guy.
We may have to pay them.
We might have to. We'll have to bribe them with something, but we'll figure it out.
Knuckle sandwich.
All right. Well, look. Let's like you said, we could talk about this all night. So let's let these fine people go.
Okay.
And we're gonna wrap it. As always. This program is available on multiple podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Or again, if you love beauty right here, and you got to watch us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Last but not least, follow me on Instagram, Ben Maynard Program. All right? We're done, people.
Yeah, we had fun.
We're calling it. Hope you enjoyed the program. Come back next time. This is the Ben Maynard Program. Tell a friend.